Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lewis Hamilton. I'm the Dean of the Albert Dorman Honors College, and I'm very happy to welcome all of you to our 25th anniversary celebration here of this wonderful college. This is a live event, and so expect bumps in the road here, and that'll just make it more exciting and exciting live broadcasting. I want to introduce our honors ambassadors, or a handful of our honors ambassadors here, who are going to help give a tour of Honors Hall, and we'll talk a little bit about the college over the next 50 minutes or so. And so you see in front of you here, John Town, Carolyn D'Souza, Prem Naik, and Elizabeth Kowalczyk. And so we can start the tour. So here you see Honors Hall itself. The Honors College now, at its 25th anniversary, is over 700 college. We are just around 44% female, so we're almost a half and half. We have every major offered by NJIT as part of the Honors College. So that's architecture, biology, business, computer science, chemistry, digital design, history, informatics, law, every field of engineering, chemical, civil, biomedical, electrical, environmental, industrial, mechanical, every field at NJIT is represented in the Honors College. So those 700 plus honors scholars are Dorman scholars are housed in two colleges but make their home here in Honors Hall.
Okay, so starting off the tour, you can see we're in the lobby of Honors Hall. So if you turn around, Mike, you can see the desk attendants. There's 2 desk attendants, so the building is very secure. And what's interesting about specifically the Honors Hall is that it's the only hall that is a combination of residential and administration buildings, which you'll see once we go upstairs. But so you can see there's 2 rooms on the side that are focused on the residence hall. So on the side, there's the mail room and there's a kitchen for the residents. And there's also 2 display cases. I'm not sure, Mike, if you can zoom in there. That just has a lot of items from Albert Dorman's career, which is really inspiring to the students, obviously, walking through every day. So you can see they're zooming in. And then, Mike, we can just pass through the lobby to the back of the hall before we go upstairs. So through the lobby, you come out in the Honors Green. So we're facing Greek Village, which is behind Honors Hall. And yeah, if you turn around, you can see the Honors Green is a really popular gathering space, especially now in the time of COVID. The outdoor spaces is safer, obviously, for students to meet. So this has been a really popular space, as you can imagine, this year. We're also looking, if you can see to the right, the volleyball court, which is really popular for students. It was actually part of an honors student initiative during my first year to get it installed in the green. So it's really nice amenity for the students. And Mike, if you turn to the right, you should be able to see the pollinator garden, which was installed during my first year at the Honors College. It was part of a first year service project. The Honors College focuses on service. I'm sure Dr. Hamilton will speak more about it, but we focus on sustainability as well as the integration of NJIT into the larger community of Newark and kind of the empowerment of the 2 simultaneously. So this was an installation of all local pollination plants encouraged, which is part of just a goal to increase the biodiversity on campus. So Dr. Hamilton, before John brings us upstairs, do you want to talk a little more about the service requirements?
So as the scholars know, as the Dorman scholars know, they're required to do 30 hours of on-campus and 30 hours of off-campus service every year. And so that's over 40,000 hours in the college that gets of service we do in on and off campus there. So an important part of that is for us is integrating, this incredible education they're receiving with their commitment to the community, which I'll talk about. That's a theme. If you know me at all, you hear me talk about that. And so the pollinator garden here is part of our commitment to sustainability. It's part of NJIT's strategic plan is to become more sustainable. It's part of the Honors College strategic plan as well to promote sustainability on campus. So part of our goal here is that the college, Dorman College should lead in all these things, and this is part of our effort in that regard.
Mike, I believe you can bring us back up to the second floor for John now.
Great, thanks. So what you're looking at here is the second floor lobby in honors, and that main glass building right there, that's like the main front desk that you come up to anytime you have to meet with someone, drop off information. At front desk, we have Anna, the secretary, there to take care of everyone. And then if we want to go into the administrative wing, and then we'll come back to the lobby. So if this is the administrative wing or the west wing of the second floor, and this is where all the offices are for all the honor support staff. So you have Dean Hamilton, all the associate deans, any assistant deans, any associate directors, and the admin team. All the academic advisors are in here, which makes it really accessible for all of us students because all you have to do is take the elevator down a couple floors and you're seeing all your advisors, which is really helpful compared to a lot of your major advisors where you have to go across campus, and makes it feel more removed versus down here you can see them. You see them in the elevator all the time. So it's really nice. It helps you get to know them a lot more. And all the advisors are all very helpful with different things such as classes, service opportunities that Dean Hamilton mentioned, and especially fellowships. That's something that the Honors College is very proud of. All the advisors help out with changing the outcomes in fellowships. We have record numbers of fellowships this year. We had 4 Goldwater fellowships and 2 Fulbright fellowships. So the Honors College is very proud of all of those students who got them. And they really push for all those students to get involved with them because they're great opportunities, and the advisors are very helpful with all of that. And if you want to go now, we can go back into the lobby.
Yeah, so all of you live upstairs, and then we're right down there for you to drop in.
Yeah, it's very nice. And now we can look here this is the back side of the lobby. This is like often the hub on open house days. If you guys have ever come back on an open house, this is where you come oftentimes to meet a lot of people in honors. And on the left there, we have another little Albert Dorman memorabilia display case. And if you look particularly, you can see the Olympic torch that Dr. Dorman carried during the run up to the California Olympics. And this torch is where we've gotten the inspiration for the Honors College to lead the way for the rest of NJIT through service, through leadership abilities. And I think that's something that has become, to make a pun, of the guiding torch of the Honors College. And then over there on the right, we have that grand piano that you see. And that's pretty nice because students will come down after classes, like early on in the night, just play some music for 20, 30 minutes, just really decompress. It's a great way to just kind of zone out for a little bit, focus on the music. And it does fill the hall with some nice music because we do have some pretty talented piano players that wind up coming to the Honors College. It's just nice to hear them as you're coming through. And now
that's actually a really nice feature. So all of us on the honors team, we know kind of like the day is winding down when we start to hear the piano playing. So it's our cue to wrap up. It's a beautiful little feature.
Getting played off stage.
Exactly.
And now we're going to head over to the East Wing or the Scholars Wing, and Caroline's going to take you through all of that.
Hello. So here on the right side, you can see some photos for the photo competition that's run by the Honors College. It started about 2 years ago. It's hashtag Newark Forward. And it's NJIT's engagement with Newark. So every year they pick a winner and they get put up on the wall. So if we go to the boardroom, which is just behind us, here's where we meet some of our distinguished alumni, friends. Some networking events take place here and fundraising. So there's a lot of people who come through here, especially visitors, and the Board of Visitors.
So the board meets twice a year there. I mean, we've been virtual this last meeting and this current meeting, but typically that's twice a year there in the boardroom. And then we have the event in the fall is associated with Celebration, the great alumni event, which is a lot of fun. So we have a lunch with the board, then we have Celebration afterwards with the board in the fall, and that gives a chance for some of the Dorman scholars to meet the board and work with them. And then the spring, we then have the spring board meeting. We have an event we call Passing the Torch, and that's followed with a round table with our alumni and the board members, kind of networking and connecting with our current scholars as well. Here as well, I think some of you have had that opportunity over the years to connect with our board at those events, passing the torch and celebration. So it's a very fun time for our alumni who are following this tour. If you haven't been to Celebration, you must do it. It is a lot of fun as well.
So we're gonna go down the hall to the Cordes Family Interdisciplinary Design Studio, also known as IDS. This is where first year seminars take place, honors courses, and colloquias. So every semester students take 2 colloquias, and we come in and we hear visitors speak about different topics, ranging from social topics to more science-related topics. So that's a lot of fun. And then there's another one that is IDS 2. This is where clubs can meet and where the Honor Summer Research Institute takes place. And that's where we gather around together and we talk about different ways that we can research. And it's a program to help students. It's also a group study area, which is super helpful during finals and midterms.
And in typical times, right, the unwritten rule is that if in IDS2 is that if someone has left something written on the board, like a formula or something like that, you're not to erase it. Do I understand that correctly? Yeah. So.
And from here, we'll move down to the Gil Glass Library, where I'll hand it off to Prem.
All right, thank you, Caroline. So right now we're looking at the Gil Glass Library, and there's a lot of books that were generously donated to the Honors College, and these include textbooks and classic novels that we as students are actually able to take advantage of. And this is classics like I, for example, got to take a look at 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and it's just a really good collection of books. So as honor scholars, we obviously love to read outside of class, and this is a great place to take out books. And also, it's a great place to study. As you can see, there's lots of desks that I know I've spent many an hour just studying with the group there. And so if we want to take a look back, right behind, there is the quiet study lounge right behind the shelves of books. So that's also a great place that students can go really buckle down to study if need be. And it's a great environment to study in because you have your own cubicle. And it's always good to be able to make use of that, especially during midterms and finals. So from here, we're actually going to go to the Henderson Computer Lounge.
Before we get to the lab, I want to go back to the IDS rooms before we leave the. You mentioned a favorite book there, so I want to ask some other favorites from your hours and hours in these rooms, which I know I've seen you all in them. So some questions for all of you. Do you have any favorite? Any favorites? So we have the IDS rooms. Do you have any favorite honors courses you've taken over the years? That's I was going to ask you that question. I'm compulsive about that.
So
yeah, actually, my first year we took an honors. I'm an architecture major, so we took an honors enhanced studio. So that involved kind of an added project that would be community serving for NJIT. So myself and 8 other honors students actually started the Hillier College of Architecture student publication, which is something that a lot of prominent architecture schools across the country have. So the project, even though it's supposed to only last 1 semester, we kind of took it and ran with it, and it actually now the project became a student club and something that we produce every year. So we're just working on publishing last year's publication.
Very cool. Hey,
Yeah.
go for it.
So, one of my favorite honors classes was actually my chemistry class freshman year. It was super cool because we went really in depth into the information, and it was just like the project we did at the end of the semester. We got to use a new software where you could see like the molecules and you can move it around, and you would see the bond length. So that was really, really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, for me, in my major, which is civil engineering, there aren't a ton of honors classes available, but one that I found that I really enjoyed was honors oral presentations or public speaking. And that was a class because every time I've talked to people that are professionals, that the skills that they're looking for in their workforce, communication skills are always a big deal, whether it be written or verbal. And a lot of people, especially at a school like NJIT, where it's a pretty, dare I say, nerdy composition, it's public speaking skills aren't exactly something that a lot of people have, and it's something that I've had to work myself into doing. So I think taking that class really did a lot for me because it really opened my eyes to exactly how to present, what flaws I had, how I could improve better. And I think that was a skill that will really apply beyond school, whether it be job interviews, a tour like this, or presentations in the workforce. So I really think that taking a class like that was very valuable for me. And I think it's something that a lot of students should take throughout their years at NJIT.
Yeah, that is a favorite class for honor scholars for sure. You've got to look out for Vatsal Shah's course on forensic engineering, or Professor Bufadel's class, or Professor Frere's class on water quality as well. They're honor sections of in civil as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that, John.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested in Dr. Shah's class.
Yeah, that's a great one. Honors alum.
And also, I was able to take the same class with John as well. So that obviously falls in line with one of my favorites. But also, I'm currently in HSS, which is the Senior Humanities course, which is where we have New York Narratives. So we actually get to take a look at the city we're studying in. So that's also a great course to take at some point.
Yeah, that's a very cool course, and that's also part of our city leadership track too. So, where we kind of connect our kind of knowledge about Newark into our volunteer and service work as well. I'm not going to let you go that quickly on classes either. So we mentioned HSRI, fun research projects.
I don't know if Dr. Hamilton is asking this specifically for me because, well, I actually worked with Dr. Hamilton during the summer after my first year and during my first year on a 3D modeling work within his research in Rome. And myself and another honor student, Mary Riccio, actually got to go to Rome 2 summers ago and do in-person research and photogrammetry work. So that was kind of my fun research experience.
I hope that's fun. Good, I'm glad.
I also did some research with the HSRI program. I worked with 3D scaffolding for bone regeneration, and my project was basically to find a way to combine both the 3D printed scaffold and some fibers so that, cells can adhere better. So it was super, super interesting, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Very cool. And now, we mentioned like IDS2 as a kind of common study area, the common study area, and then also we've talked a little bit about the volunteer stuff. But how do you all, as we're going through this space, how do you kind of connect with other Dorman scholars here in the space and just in your classes, wherever? How does that all happen? I mean, I'm in here working all the time. You tell us how you're all connecting in this space.
I think honestly, and we'll get to it a little bit later, so maybe we can but just the residential areas are a very good way to meet a lot of students, because by and large, a lot of honor students do live on campus, especially freshman year. And as the alum will see shortly, the dorms, especially the dorm rooms, are very nice, and a lot of people say that they're arguably the nicest rooms on campus. So I think a lot of honor students choose to live in the honors dorm, especially freshman, sophomore year. And I think that's a great place to meet a lot of people because everyone's always walking around. There's lounge areas that everyone will see. So I don't want to give too much away, but There's a lot of open spaces up there as well for everyone to socialize and really get together. And of course, classes and service opportunities are similar ways because especially for the people that don't live on campus, it's still a great way to connect with them, almost like bonding over, wow, this class is really tough. Let's all stick together and get this done. That kind of friendship and partnership.
Now, as ambassadors, I mean, this is one of your service things, giving back to the college. But have any of you had any other service opportunities that you want to discuss, or any of your roommates had any cool service projects? We talked about the pollinator garden, and so you don't have to mention that again as much as I think it's very cool. But any service projects you want to give a shout out to?
So actually, during my freshman year, me and my current roommate, in fact, were able to take advantage of the freshman seminar class to actually get some experience gardening in New York. And that was, our first experience with volunteering with the Honors College. And it was in New York itself. So that was great to be able to, in fact, right now it's at the Kruger Scott Mansion. That's where we were able to farm. So that was an interesting way to, get our feet wet.
Very cool. Cool.
Another interesting one I've found, sorry, I think I just stepped over you, but it's another kind of way to give back to community. It's called NGIT Splash. And essentially what it was a program set up and run by honors students, to teach courses in just about anything to a bunch of local high school, middle school students, just about any topic you want. We had more educational ones, like I taught a class in like just an intro to guitar basics, where it was just like this stepping stones to learn how to play guitar. And then there's people teaching things about video games, coding, computer-aided design, basically all these different topics. And so it really gave students an opportunity to learn more about any topic they wanted. And it gave the college students learn how to teach something, which is always very important when you're thinking, because a lot of students do often go on to become teachers or professors. It's important to know how to teach when you're being a professor. So I think that's another thing that's very valuable.
I couldn't agree more with that. Very cool.
Yeah, I actually took part in NJIT's crocheting and knitting club. Every semester, you can make something or multiple things to give to the homeless shelters and for donations. It's a really nice way, especially during the winter when people are really, really in need of like scarves and blankets. So we like to give back that way.
That's actually that. When I first arrived and I was asking about what were the most popular clubs, that turns out to be one of our most popular clubs. We have about 60 students signed up for it this semester. So, and I think you give out like hundreds of scarves, right?
Yeah, we give out a lot of stuff. So per semester, people usually make 2 or 3 hats, or 2 scarves. Like you can make a combination of things, and yeah.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, and I think knit and crochet, I'm also really into knit and crochet, and I think it's great that the students have realized that they can really push their talents to be part of the service. Like it doesn't have to be like a chore of like having to get up and do work. It's doing something that you're good at. We can use our talents to help the community, and I think that's an important lesson that knit and crochet really pushes.
Very cool. Cool. All right. Well, I'll stop interrupting you. All right. We were in the computer when I interrupted. We were in the computer lab.
All right. So to continue with the computer lab, this is a great place that I have worked many nights in, because it has, pre-COVID times, all the spots have computers where they're all preloaded with whatever programs you need from CAD. I had to use Multisim as an electrical engineering major, and also MATLAB and any software like SolidWorks. And it's convenient to have these computers that are ready to go in the dorm you're living in. Or if you're a commuter, you can also make use of these, which is great as a resource to have. And yeah, so we can continue to go to the Roberta Bernard Student Council office.
That was, by the way, the Dan Henderson Computer Lab, and Dan is on our board, and I think he's on this tour with us too. So, hi, Dan.
Right. So This is the student council office, and this is a great place where, once again, honor scholars and students are able to get together and plan events that other students can take advantage of. And it's just a great way of showcasing how leadership takes a role in planning events and how honors scholars are able to go through with that. And so I guess now we can take a look at the Elizabeth and Paul Kastner Student Lounge, which we informally call the game room as students. Now, before all those chairs were there, this was also a great place to just hang out, relax after class, in between class. We were able to watch movies on the TV, as you can see soon, right there. And this was also a spot where a lot of activities within the dorm were held, and it's a nice place to get to know other honor scholars in between classes, in a not as formal setting as the other lounges. So that, I think, is a great segue into the dorm life, which we can take up right up to third floor. So as you can see here, this is the elevator lounge. This pre-COVID, once again, all the chairs would be in a nice arrangement around where students can sit down, study if they want to, get into breakout groups, and just work whenever need be. And it's a great atmosphere. I remember walking out in this lounge and just finding people just sitting there just to be able to talk with or work with. But also we had our own events in this lounge, or lounges like these. We had our own formals, as we informally called them. We also watched the Super Bowl, which was a great way to relax in between, and just great way of making use of housing. So I think I can hand it over to John, who will talk us through the television lounge.
Yes, so as you can see here, this is the television lounge, sometimes called the side lounge. There's a bunch of different names that bounce around for it, but essentially what this is, it's another little area. It's good for work and for play. As you can see there, we have a big whiteboard that people will get together right before the night before exams and really practice everything. I know many of my calculus exams the night before, there'd be anywhere between like 5, 10, 15 of us, all obviously pre-COVID, looking at the board, figuring out these different problems that we have from study material, and really helping teach each other. And I think the reason I did well in a lot of these exams is because of this resource right here and being able to study with everyone else very effectively while being right around the corner from my room. And I think that just having that there makes studying so much easier. And if you look to the right, you'll also see a TV there. And while as much as we study in here, it's also a great place to socialize on the weekends. So we've watched movies, TV shows. We watched the entire final season of Game of Thrones in here, wondering what was going on. I've watched many sporting events in here and got my heart ripped out more than a few times. And overall, it's just a great place to come together Friday, Saturday nights, just pop on a movie and just watch it and just relax and take a break from school life, because being on campus, it's very easy to get focused in solely on school. And that with this lounge, it's another great way to socialize and to be with each other. I know, especially in my friend groups, like we all half the time lived in this lounge just because it was a pretty central area where people were always coming through. So it was nice to see people, say hi, hang out for a little bit, study, watch TV. It's just a great place all around. And so now we're going to go into the main attraction in one of the dorm rooms here on campus. And I'll let Liz take you through that.
Yeah, so this is a typical dorm room with a few items moved in, it seems already. But basically the layout is there's 2 rooms similar like this, and then they're connected through a central bathroom. So the suite has 4 people. So there's individual desks for each student to work if they don't want to work out in the many lounges we were showing you. I think the one great thing that I loved about the Honors College was the being placed with other honor students. There's a big emphasis on interdisciplinary working, which you can see from all of the previous rooms. So I'm an architecture major, but my roommate first year randomly placed was a biology major, so we could kind of work to help each other with different projects, give each other different ideas. And also on the dorms, we really try to make the floors into a community. So like I'm an RA in honors this year, actually. And so there's a lot of events hosted by RAs, and for their floor specifically. So residents really become good friends with each other through the year. And lastly, we'll go to the third student lounge, which Caroline's going to talk to you about.
So here's the side lounge, also called the glass lounge. A lot of students like to come here to study. It's a quieter study area with less traffic than the TV lounge. So if you're looking for like a smaller group, you can always study in these side lounges. Also, you can use it for extracurriculars. Like sometimes me and my friends would host like surprise birthday parties where we would all get into the room pre-COVID and set up, and we have cake. So it'd be a lot of fun to hang out here. You also get a nice view in the back of Greek Village, so that's also a big plus.
Very cool.
And I'm going to pass it off to Dean Hamilton.
Okay, very cool. So I see we have some I think we have some time for Q&A as well. But I think one question that will be on people's mind too is well, first I should just say thank you to the ambassadors here for taking us into your life here in the college for a bit, and I appreciate all the work you do. We put the scholars to good work here, and the ambassadors are a big part of it. And so we're very grateful to all of you for doing this. But I guess one question I presume I know that I get all the time, and I know that a lot of our alumni have, is just sort of like what's the campus life been like for you here in the dorms under COVID? Obviously, we mentioned it a few times. The chairs are pushed out of the way so we can kind of keep social distance and that sort of thing. But to just sort of what's campus life been like for you here during this time?
So like I mentioned, I'm an RA this year, so campus has obviously been a little different this year, but there's still a lot of kind of integration into community building and floor building through virtual programs. We've been doing a lot of virtual study sessions together. We all just kind of put on our cameras and then still work by ourselves, but it feels nicer that we're all together. And basically, we're trying to keep things as normal as possible while keeping people safe. So the green outside has been a great resource of spending time together. So we're still making great use of all of the amenities that we have that are available to us.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm just gonna bounce off that. Like, a lot of people do like to spend time outside. Now that the weather's getting colder, though, the online format is what we have to use. It's actually pretty interesting to learn how to use the different formats, so like Google Meet, WebEx. So it's a big learning experience too. And the dorms are being super safe. They do testing every week. So yeah.
And one major thing I found helpful is I'm still able to have lab experience, which as senior year approaches, it's all about being able to see what we learned all these 3 years in person and having a safe environment in the lab. Like, I feel safe and I'm able to go in and still learn and still have a positive experience. So I think that's still great.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm going to twist this question on its head a little bit because I've been largely staying at home this semester rather than staying on campus. So it's been its own experience trying to learn how to connect with people who are also staying at home or are living on campus. So for example, in my senior design class, we have a group project, all three of us. It's also an honors class, and we have to work basically weekly on this project. And so we've been using resources like Discord, which is another version of WebEx, Google Meet, all of those. And we've been utilizing share screening, file sharing. It's kind of interesting in that sense because it's like working and professionally, but virtually, as many people I'm sure are used to we are used to it by now, dealing with online sharing, online meetings. It's very interesting. And I think that's something that working on school projects is doing similar, especially since by and large people think that virtual working is going to become more mainplace, even in a post-COVID world, whatever and whenever that is.
Yeah, I think that's well said. I mean, it's been a learning experience for everyone. We're really, I'd say we're very proud of NJIT NJIT as a whole, and the students particularly have been so responsible about all this, and just very proud of your work here. So thank you again for the tour of your honors home here. I don't know if we have any if Mike is got questions for us here while we have you on, or at this point, or if he wants to pull in here and see if there's any video entertainment he has for us. I know we have a kind of video montage before we start the main event.
Certainly, Lewis. So it's my pleasure at this point. First, let me thank the students for their great work on this. It was a real pleasure working with you and certainly with the dean. I think you did a phenomenal job here. So congratulations to you. Unsurprising because you are honors college students. So not a surprise at all there. But it is my pleasure, as the dean mentioned, to introduce a small recap video that we did in honor of the 25th anniversary of the Honors College. Please bear in mind, we're actually going to play this twice so that there will be some ample time to view it. And prior to the formal kickoff of our event, which will take place in about 15 minutes or so. So let's go ahead and get that video playing right now. Greetings from New Jersey Institute of Technology. My name is Mike Small, and I'm Executive Director of the Alumni Relations Office at NJIT. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Joel and Dr. Diane Bloom to share a little bit about the history of the Honors College at NJIT. Dr. Bloom?
So thank you, Mike. And if you didn't get a chance to see the tour of the college, I encourage you to watch that, or I'm sure we'll be replaying that and hearing the insightful comments of our Honors College scholars. And it reminded me of the robust discussions we had starting around 2010 about a residential honors college. And the reason or the origin of that discussion was the retreat that we typically had back then with the honors freshmen. The honors freshmen every year, prior to starting the campus or coming to campus for class, we would take them on a 2 or 3 day retreat to a campsite in Northwest New Jersey. And what you observed in the process was the kind of bonding that went on between and among the students as they shared this residential experience. So several years into this, Lois Hewlin and I said, let's find out about residential honors colleges. We went off to a conference and we realized the benefits of putting students, honors students together in a residential experience. I entered into a discussion with Mr. Dorman, Dr. Dorman, about a residential honors college. Al was not exactly enamored originally with the idea. He thought it would be us segregating the honors college students from the rest of the community. Because as he and I started talking about, along with then President Fenster in 1993 and 4, about an honors college, we thought about how the honors college would fill out that aphorism, which is, a rising tide lifts all boats. How do we continue to improve NJIT? And one of the strategies at the time was to initiate the development in an honors college. But the honors college would be infused or integrated across the community. So the idea of this separate residence hall was of concern to Al and to the Board of Visitors. But we got over that hurdle with the idea that the honors college would host colloquium, etc., and invite many other students and others into the honors college and create that second floor, which is to be a public floor of the honors college. The little hurdle we had then as we started planning the building and getting the input of students after about 3 retreats of the freshmen, 3 successive years, we began to talk about the design of the honors college, including the rooms in the honors college. And as this public floor became more of a reality, there was a $10 million cost to build out that second floor, which you've heard described. And then you came across some names like the Cordis Lab, or the Gilglass Library, or the Roberta Renard Student Council, or the Dan Henderson Computer Lab, or the Liz and Paul Kastner facility. And those are people, along with the rest of the Honors College Board of Visitors at the time, that donated toward the $10 million build out of the second floor, as well as Al and Joan Dorman. So the second floor was a living laboratory opportunity for all honor students and for others as well to experience what it's like to work in teams. It has already been said, interdisciplinary teams. In addition to that, in the second floor fenced hall, we had built out, at the time it was vacant, we said, let's get the input of the students into what should the residence halls or the residential rooms look like. And honors architecture, civil engineering, and other students came in and helped us design 2 model rooms. This was a living learning exercise. What are the 2 model rooms And then the students at the time got to vote on which they thought would be the best model room for a residential honors college. So a lot of thought, a lot of discussion, a lot of visioning went into the honors college, including the idea of a fitness room, the market, and Smashburger was not the first food entity in that building. We tried several. And then we came up with the idea, and people thought it was an experiment, of we needed to build a Greek village. And we said, what if we take that property, and for those of you who were around back then, and I know there are many alums who are on this call or on this tour here today, who that used to be some housing of the Newark residents. There was a bar and a restaurant that was frequented at the time of the site of where the Honors College and Greek life, the Greek houses, now reside. What we decided was, let's take that whole piece of property and turn it into a bit of a residential village. One of the students, in the process of designing the Greek houses and the Honors College, said, are you trying to experiment and see if Greeks and honors students can actually get together, reside in the same area, and do well together? Much as many of you know, a number of the leaders in the fraternities and sororities are also honors college students. So the honors college, the concept, the vision, what I heard it described today, is what we envisioned back starting this conversation about 2010 with the incoming freshmen, with the Board of Visitors, with Al Dorman, and some of our faculty as well. So I just felt we should get a little sense of the history, the effort that went behind, and the design and the thinking that went into the residential honors college. And I was fortunate enough when the building did open in 2013, when we cut the ribbon on the building, the picture between my wife Diane and I represents that building as well. Two other quick points. The reason why we stopped doing the 3-day retreat of residential honors college students is because we had the residence hall. Also in the interim, my wife Diane and I, when the class was much smaller, the incoming class, we would host at our home in the backyard of our house the incoming freshmen, as well as had an annual alumni event. And that's how, again, the intent, it was very intentional that we build this community of honors college scholar students. The outcome, as we've heard a little earlier today, is some 3,500 alums who continue to do extremely well, who Diane and I very often have an opportunity to meet with, as we've done, and as Mike Smullen and company have held regional receptions around the country. The Honors College students very often lead our Student Senate. About 70 to 80 of them are D1 athletes. They are often start the clubs. We heard about, I didn't know about the origin of the crocheting club, for example. So they are truly, as envisioned at the time, the leaders on our campus. And as we moved on to become a very significant national research university, we now have about 300 students each summer doing summer research and getting grants for their work from the university and elsewhere. And in particular, we've become this research university and built this research talent and seen some of the honors college students go from undergraduates to PhDs to, over the past half dozen years, when we've had 160 faculty, there are at least, I'd say, close to 10 of those faculty who are now working here as teachers and as researchers started out as students in the Honors College. So the Honors College legacy continues to grow, as we heard from the student ambassadors earlier, and will continue to grow and help lead NJIT to continued heights with regard to being an R1 research university, to being a university that continues to move students from the lowest income levels to some of the highest income levels when they're in the workplace, and to a nationally ranked university. So I'll stop at this point. The Honors College was a privilege to lead for a period of years and to see how it has manifested itself in the life of this university. Thank you, Mike.
Dr. Bloom, thanks so much for that history. I also want to make a quick note that the minute you mentioned Smashburger, our internet comments went afire. So there's a lot of growth there, and clearly there's a lot of interest in all aspects of it. Thank you very much. So again, my name's Mike Smullen. I'm the Executive Director of the Alumni Relations Office at NJIT, and I want to welcome you to the 25th anniversary celebration of the Albert Dorman Honors College. Since this is a live event, please bear with us if some occasional technical glitches occur. We'll do our best to smooth those over. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the Dean of the Albert Dorman Honors College, Dr. Lewis Hamilton.
Thank you, Michael. So good evening, everyone. My name is Lewis Hamilton. It's my great privilege to be the Dean of the Albert Dorman Honors College and to welcome you here and welcome you on behalf of the entire Dorman Honors College administrative team. I want to relay the warm regards and well wishes of my entire team here in the college, of Dr. Osladil, Berczek Osladil, our Associate Dean, of Dr. Klimovich, our Assistant Dean, Director of Development, Ms. Janet Robertson, Dr. Dobashevsky, Dr. Ronald, our Associate Directors, our Associate Director of Admissions, Dr. Kawakami, and Ms. Canera. The entire team is happy to have you here and have you here join us here in the college. Here I'm in my office here on campus, which is a great privilege for me to work and serve this great university. I'd like to, before I introduce our main event here and our honored guests, I'd like to acknowledge all of our supporters, our friends, our alumni, the faculty, the rest of the incredible administrative team here at NJIT, Provost Deek and his leadership, of course, President Bloom and his leadership, that all of the incredible NJIT community that has over the last quarter century helped build this incredible college. NJIT is a wonderful community, and the Dorman College is, of course, one of 6 colleges here on campus and part of that. And so all of our success is our shared success, and I'm very grateful to all of them for their work with us over the years. I'd also like to acknowledge here the members of our Honors College Board of Visitors who are with us here today. It's my pleasure to introduce them this afternoon. The chair of our Board of Visitors, Richard Schatzberg, Stuart Abrams, Laura Dorman, Frank Femino, Jennifer Guevara, Michael Hanrahan, Dan Henderson, Bob Hillier, Walter Kraft, Ivers Crummins, Joe Nuzeles, Rakesh Patel, Paolo Pinho, Emily Petrowski, Samir Saini, Clifford Samuel, Ed Schmeltz, Duraj Shah, Mike Smith, and Joe Sullivan. Welcome on behalf of the board to all of you. I'd also like to recognize our former chairs of the board and members emeritus of the Board of Visitors, Dick Sweeney, Paul Kastner, and Steve Cordes, who are joining us. Joining us today also is our provost, Dr. Fadi Deek, who is also the proud parent of 3 honors alumni, and we're grateful for his leadership and to have him with us this evening. I'd also like to recognize my fellow deans, the vice presidents, faculty, and alumni, and all the NJIT administrative staff who make all of this possible. I finally want to recognize colleagues in the Albert Dorman Honors College, past and present, including the recently retired Professor Richard Scher, who formed the original honors program here at NJIT, which ultimately became a college, and recently retired the long-serving Assistant Director of Admissions and Enrollment Management, Ms. Lois Chapeppo, who's watching as well. We can't thank all of you enough for all of your hard work and dedication over more than 25 years that have made this all possible. And finally, our honors alumni and friends who are tuning in live from all over. There are, I think, between the multiple platforms, well over 350 of you. So thank you all for joining us this evening. I'd like to welcome now Dr. Albert Dorman and Joan Dorman, the doctors, Joel and Diane Bloom, Laura Dorman, who's also on our Board of Visitors. And I believe I know we have on the call with us also Richard Dorman. But we may also have on the call with us Ken Dorman. I'm not certain of that as well, but the Dorman family is able to join us, and we're very happy to have all of you with us. Dr. Dorman was, of course, class of 1945, a namesake of the Albert Dorman Honors College. Dr. Bloom, founding dean of the Honors College and now president of NJIT. We were talking earlier about big shoes to fill. I have no ambition to fill those shoes, or I'm not even going to try. And founded, so now president of NJIT, and of course, Laura is also on our member of our board of visitors here as well, and continuing the family tradition of service with us in that regard too. So welcome, thank you all for joining us this evening.
Okay. So I think the first question comes to me, and I'd like to pose that to Dr. Dorman. Dr. Dorman and Joan and Richard as well. Let's start with a pretty straightforward question. This is the 25th anniversary of the college, and there are now more than 3,500 alumni of the college. Is this what you imagined when you first sat across from Dr. Fenster to discuss your vision? And what were those early conversations about this like?
Well, this is Albert Dorman talking. If you can't hear me, consider yourself fortunate. I'll do my best to speak out if I can. And I'm going to speak mainly to the students and the alums of the college, because they're what it's all about. And I'm going to do that in two steps. First, I'm going to say, you all are a group of outstanding young men and women. You are part of the precious, limited resource of intellectual resources in our country. And so I think I'll answer that question by reading a little bit from my opening remarks when the college opened, if you don't mind hearing that. And it's addressed primarily to the students and the alumni of the college. It is my thesis that our primary need today is for outstanding engineers, scientists, and architects who can provide leadership to others outside their own fields, to lead these other outstanding individuals to successfully accomplish complex programs, to manage difficult research, and to affect desired results in a society which is largely technically unsophisticated. In short, I believe the overriding need in industry, in academia, and in government is for outstanding, technically trained individuals who can integrate various disciplines and differing approaches, and most importantly, can integrate the talents of creative, diverse, opinionated, stimulating, and often ambiguous individuals. So those were my opening remarks. And I want to continue a little bit on that. So I said to these young, brilliant young students, learn to manage controversy so that it may lead to consensus. Learn to meld strongly held differing opinions into an action plan for the common good. Recognize our differences, but emphasize our similarities. Pay homage to our different beginnings, but concentrate on our potential common ending. Just one more minute. I'll see if I can find another quote that might apply. Please forgive me for thumbing through this old piece of paper.
No worries at all.
I appreciate your patience with me. I was trying to find something that was really applicable. Oh, yes, there it is. I challenge all of you to make it a lifelong duty to help but define and achieve important social as well as scientific goals, and to help inform the non-scientific segment of the body politic.
That's excellent. And Dr. Dorman, those remarks, when did you offer those remarks originally?
I'm sorry?
When did you offer those remarks?
I opened at the dedication ceremony of the opening of the college itself. And I'm proud to say that almost all the students and graduates have followed those remarks. And I think it's more important today than ever before.
I appreciate that. I can't imagine what it would be like to be standing there at that moment and then to look these many years later to see I'm not going to call it a culmination, but certainly an evolution of what you've been achieving. Just out of curiosity, how does it feel to be here today? I know you've mentioned it a little bit, but looking from then to now, how do you feel about things?
Well, I think we've had wonderful students and alumni, and that's why I'm addressing this primarily to them rather than to the onlookers. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get there in person to convey these remarks, but I'm hoping that these comments from me are reaching all of you, particularly in these days where the country is so divided. It's so important for us to find common goals, to reach common aims that are good for all.
I truly appreciate that, sir. And I do want you to know that, of course, although you're unable to physically be with us, we're with you at all points. My next question goes to Dr. Bloom. Dr. Bloom, Doctors Bloom, I should say. I can't count the number of alumni who, when they talk about the Honors College, mention you as a guiding hand behind their success. It's essentially without fail. And one of the biggest reasons they stay in touch with NJIT. That kind of personal touch is rare anywhere. And it's something that's inspiring to see, and more so, of course, to the alums who have graduated out of the college. When you started out as the first dean of the Honors College, did you think you were going to have this kind of personal impact on so many of the graduates?
Uh-oh. Stick sound. Muted. Lost the sound.
And Dr. Bloom, I think we'll have to unmute you there.
To answer your question, Mike, you don't really think about that at the time you initiate something like an honors college. What's behind the thinking of an honors college is severalfold. One, almost every organization that's going to do something important is a human organization. Al mentioned it earlier, the idea of the human capital is critical. And the reality is we don't have enough of that human capital. We don't have enough today STEM technology capital. And it's not diverse enough. Notwithstanding that women comprise about 55% of students on campuses. Women in engineering and in STEM disciplines make up less than 20% in the workforce. When you talk about minority, African American, and Hispanic, it's less than that. It's closer to 10%. So what we're trying to build here at NJIT and in the Honors College and in our EOP programs is that human capital that Al talks about. And the way you engage people is by personal relationships. So while we're all currently becoming very, very skilled at anything that is virtual, and we have virtual reality, we have AI, and we have soon 5G, at the end of the day, to build an effective organization, to build an effective learning organization, to build an effective honors college or an educational opportunity program or the newer College of Engineering takes human engagement. And very often it takes face-to-face human engagement, which is currently limited. But one of the things you mentioned, Fadi Deek was mentioned earlier. Fadi and I spent a lot of time, along with our colleagues, the deans and other vice presidents, contemplating what do we do for the fall semester. And given the disciplines that we are educating young men and women in, given the research that we're doing, our PhD students and our undergraduate students, we felt we had to have some in-person learning. We had to open up our laboratories that you heard a student speak about a little earlier. So the idea of leading an honors college, sitting across Al Dorman in Santa Monica back around 1994 or 95. My wife was there, Joan Dorman was there, the president of the university was there, Saul K. Fenster. And being among Al Dorman and Saul, outstanding mentors. And not only is it important that we recognize the role of human enterprise, but please, to the Honors College alum and to the current students, find your mentors, watch your mentors, learn from your mentors. I have been extremely fortunate in my lifetime to have had multiple mentors from whom I learned, including Al Dorman. Very often when we're getting ready to travel to visit with Al Dorman, I would think about, okay, what is he going to challenge me to do now? And I'll stop on that note. And the personal relationships, what my wife and I try to create, as I mentioned earlier, by having honors college students come to our home every summer, was just the opportunity for them to engage one another. Al said it, the honors college is about the students and the capital, the human capital that honors college has produced. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
I want to interject with as the current dean of the college to the founding dean of the college, to Dr. Bloom. So when we think about an honors college and we think about the kind of goals we have for these great scholars here, and you touched on the kind of the human element of it and the human capital part of it, but I don't know that people appreciate the kind of how down to earth that really was for you, and the kind of the investments and for you and Diane and this as well. And earlier remarks you touched on it. You used to do an overnight retreat with the Dorman College coming in, and that is legendary among alumni. It's referenced often by them, and so I want to hear we all want to hear some stories about those early retreats and overnight camping retreats with these scholars, because this all sounds very high-minded and great, but you were in cabins. So tell us a little bit about actually making this work, building this community.
So the first year the second year we did it. Those cabins were cold. It was already September as the semester starts. So several of us on the way up realized there was a motel not far from the campsite. It was a road campsite. I think it was Western Morris County, if I'm not mistaken. So we happened to book some rooms, and the students found out about it. And about 3 that morning, and we still don't know, it was about a mile, maybe 2 away from the campsite, we did get a surprise wake-up visit from about 15 to 20 students when they realized we were sleeping in a motel, not in the campsite. That was one story that I will. We never slept at the motel in the subsequent years after that. It was worth being awoken at 3 a.m. Some of the others, on a very serious note, the students and the way the camp ran, or the retreat ran, or the orientation ran, it was run by the upperclassmen. So the juniors and the seniors of the Honors College put together the activities of that orientation. And as hard as the group that put their orientation together made the activities, the exercises, the team competitions, it got ratcheted up every year. So one of the highlights was getting black trash bags. And there was a hilly site at this campsite that we repeatedly returned to. They would continue year after year after year, lengthen the trash bag track. They'd wet it down that you had to slide down into. And ultimately, you wound up, they built it so long in subsequent years that you wound up in a mud lake, at the bottom of a muddy lake. So after a while, we stopped because it took us about 10 to 15 minutes to find a couple students a couple years. They swam to the other side of the lake, not wanting to have to go down that long trek into the muddy lake again. So those are just two that I'll recall. When I write my book, I'll put about another 10 or 20 in. Thank you.
Well, thank you for planting that seed into the mind of the current retreat counselors. I have a strong sense it's going to be part of their proposal, or maybe a secret part of the proposal for next year. The trash bag slide.
Trash bag, yeah.
Dr. Dorman, Dr. Bloom referenced this before, the way in which kind of when one has the opportunity to meet with you, it's always an opportunity to learn and an opportunity to be challenged as well. And so one of the things I know, that's dear to your heart too, and I would like to get your thoughts on. I think it's not always easy to appreciate, but you founded this college. You have endowed two of our faculty fellows programs, faculty fellows positions, and done so much more for NJIT with so much of your generosity. And that's a genuine sacrifice you've made and your family has made for NJIT, and certainly for the Dorman College. Why does that matter so much to you, to give that way and to make such an important gift?
Almost 3,500 students and alumni who can answer that same question. They want to make a contribution. They want to make society a better place. They want to take their technical skills and prove it that they're convertible to leadership. And that's an important concept. Without getting into the politics of today, it must be very difficult to find a consensus and to find people who are willing to agree on subjects rather than disagree and tear each other apart. And I think when you work in teams in science and technology these days, it's very possible to learn how to do that. And that's an important thing to do at the present time, indeed, because the country is talking more about its divisiveness rather than its togetherness, its common goals, which are important goals for everybody. And to have 3,500 students working to solve that problem is the most gratifying thing anyone could imagine.
So that's a challenge to our current scholars and our alumni to solve those problems that we see ourselves confronted with right now in the present too.
It's not just a question of solving the problems, it's a question of reaching a consensus and adhering and being good to one another and recognizing one another rather than being divisive about it. We can find solutions in lots of different ways, but in this country, we find solutions and to make everybody feel recognized and participating. And that's an important contribution from our Constitution.
If you don't mind, Al, many years ago, Al and I had this conversation about values versus ideology, right?
Correct.
What Al taught me about back then was that the focus, and I asked him, it grew out of a conversation about civil engineering. And civil engineering, really, at the end of the day, yes, it's about doing things more effectively and more efficiently, but it's really about improving the quality of life. I recall him making that statement, which I've used for decades later. So if you focus on what are we attempting to do in this country, and what are we attempting to do globally as well, if it's about improving the quality of life, well, we can debate the approach, we can debate the strategy and the tactic, but we shouldn't be divided about the outcome. And if you get into the ideology behind the strategy and the tactic, not only are you wasting valuable time and valuable resources, but you're not going to achieve that outcome, that value of improving the quality of life. And unfortunately, without visiting what's going on, it's not only in this country, it's globally, with the idea of politics first before improving the quality of life. And I think that's the difference that we're seeing played out in this election and in the world stage. It's not about the politics, it's about the people, it's about what's going on in our Honors College. And that's why the Honors College is so important. It will produce the leaders, in my opinion. And Al is wedded to this, as is the Dorman family, the future leaders with technical backgrounds who will apply that technology toward that quality of life. And you heard a little of that, during the student tours. And what I miss, Louis, not occupying that office that I actually built for myself that you have me sitting in, is engaging. Is engaging. I actually designed that office. Isn't that a nice office?
I appreciate you have a good taste.
Thank you. I didn't know I was going to wind up being president, which the good part about being president, it's an absolute pleasure to serve as president, but I do miss engaging those students in the Albert Dorman Honors College. But that is our future.
I want to go back and remind us all what the motto of our country is. It's e pluribus unum, out of many, one. So let us create a great country here together. And that's what it's all about, creating a great country together, not a divisive country, but one that recognizes everybody's input, and particularly the input of wonderful students and graduates of the Honors College. I'm sorry I'm not there to shake their hands individually this year. Joan and I usually get back there, but this year was a little unfortunate for me. I couldn't do that. But anyway, my best greetings to all of you, and keep up the wonderful work you're doing, please. And the leadership is outstanding. So Joel, keep going, building a university in a troubled times, financially and socially and politically. And you've done a wonderful job. And Dean Hamilton, thank you for your spreading the Honors College approach to various other colleges as well. So thanks to all of you, not to me, but to all of you who have made the Honors College what it is.
Thank you, Al.
Yeah, thank you, Al. We genuinely have those. Every day this past week, I've had a conversation with a Dorman scholar about those very issues, about how to use their science training to improve society, improve our country, and address the kind of major questions of the day. And so that is, I assure you, that is happening every day here in the Honors College. And I won't embarrass them by naming their names, but that is literally every day in the past this past week, I've had a meeting with one of the scholars about these issues. So I went to.
I want to interrupt you one more time because I'm not sure I've given enough credit to the Board of Visitors. The Board of Visitors of the college has been extraordinary from day one. They've been extraordinarily helpful with ideas, and some of them are still on the board. We have people like, oh, I can't even name them all, but they're splendid people who worked continuously for the college, and they've done wonderful work, and they need to be recognized as well.
Absolutely.
Can I second that just a moment? And Al, do not forget, not only, and we know Dick Sweeney's, I believe Dick is on the call, but somebody that Al was instrumental in creating the first board of visitors to the Honors College. And he brought a gentleman by the name of Bob Hillier. I don't know if Bob is on the call, but not only has Bob been a key resource and architect on this campus, but ultimately not being an alum of NJIT, alum of another research one, R1 University in the state of New Jersey. There are only two others, Rutgers and Princeton, and it wasn't Rutgers that he's an alum from. He and his wife, Barbara, have endowed, and Al introduced the Hilliers to NJIT. They've endowed our College of Architecture and Design. So that's architects and engineers are known to have something called the multiplier effect. For every one of them, they create 5 or 6 other jobs. Al created another named college for us by bringing the Hilliers to NJIT. So I want to thank you for that too, Al.
Absolutely, and it's been such a pleasure. I mean, to work with the Board of Visitors, to work with the current chair, Richard Schatzberg, to work with the former chair, Dick Sweeney, and Paul Kastner. I had the privilege of working with both of them, and it's just been one part of the great team here. And I always look forward to those meetings. They put me through my paces, and I appreciate it very much because they care very deeply. And one of those board members is with us now as well, Laura Dorman, who's joining us. And I know Richard's on the call as well too. But Laura, I just wanted to talk to you about your service at the Board of Visitors. Yeah, it's a difficult commute for you from the West Coast here, but you've been very committed to us, and this is your 4th year on the board, and so you joined with me. So we have a lot of the same shared experiences, I think too. But so what does the Dorman College mean to you, and what inspires that kind of level of service in you to the college, which is not your alma mater?
Right, and I've enjoyed every minute of getting to know the college and working with the board of advisors and you, Louis, and of course, Joel and Dan are wonderful people. So it's been a gift to me. I think my parents' greatest gift to me and my 2 brothers through the college has been to serve as a constant reminder of the need to give back. You probably know that my father was the son of immigrants. His father arrived at around age 13 with absolutely nothing, and his mother came in her teens with very little. And Dad grew up during the Depression. His family was very poor, but his parents never doubted that he and his younger sister were destined for better things, and they were right. Dad's intelligence and performance and very, very hard work propelled him to success, and graduated college at age 19 at the top of his class, and had various other accomplishments and achievements, and began working night and day. My memory as a kid is of him coming home from work at midnight, 6 or 7 days a week. A little over 70 years ago, he married Joan, my mother. He was very lucky to find her, and she has always shared his values and been his greatest supporter. So between the 2 of them, they've been fantastic role models. And Dad never forgot the opportunity he was given because of the generosity and vision of others. So all our lives, both our parents made it clear that people have to give back to the world what they can to make it a better place. And to us, the Albert Dorman Honors College is that constant reminder of that philosophy. And it's not only just a reminder, it's a concrete, real example of how giving back in any way whatsoever can grow and lead and expand to amazing things. So it's a great demonstration of what can be achieved with hard work, creativity, and financial support. So parents were never more thrilled and moved than during their visits to the college, when they were able to speak with the students and hear how the college had affected the students and the lives of the students and their families. And it's my fervent hope that these same students and all the alums of the Honors College now and in the future embrace my parents' philosophy of giving back. And whatever way they can, I hope they all contribute to make the college and the world a better place. So that's what it means to me. I'm sure my brother's sharing my sentiments. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to participate in the college.
Thank you. And you've been so generous with your time and your relationships and your professional relationships. We've got to meet so many exciting people just through you. So it's been a wonderful time to have you on the board here, and it's just been wonderful to have your family engaged too, and to get to meet some of the family as well. I mean, I got to meet Richard and his family this past over the past year. I guess we're maybe 2 years now, and that's been a wonderful.
And my husband Eric is with us here.
There's Eric. How you doing, Eric? That's great.
Our son is taking midterms today, so he couldn't participate. I know Richard's family is involved, and maybe we'll make an appearance on this video. And my brother Ken and his wife are in Park City watching the video, the celebration also.
Oh, so we're taking up valuable bandwidth from your son's exams.
Well, I think he's not going to be able to watch. He was leaving everything to the last minute, of course, though.
There's also a tradition of that in honors education as well, I'm afraid. Richard, if you're there, if you want to add a word here, you're welcome to do so.
Mom, no. Well, I mean, I'm just echoing what my sister said so beautifully and very movingly too. So we just feel, just love our parents so much and feel so proud of them. And we, as a family, feel very attached to the college. And I know my children hope to carry on our legacy with the Dorman Honors College. So we feel so fortunate and blessed, and we're so proud of the leadership and the alums and the students. So keep up the good work, and we're just proud of everyone.
Yeah, congratulations.
So, I think our last question will actually be for you, Dr. Hamilton. The Albert Dorman Honors College is now 700 scholars strong. The incoming class maintains a 1502 average SAT, which is amazing, and a record number of prestigious fellowships. With those kind of stellar accomplishments, what's the future of the college? Where does it go from here?
So, I mean, as you know, Michael, and everyone on the call knows, I'm an historian. So when I think about the future, I have to start by thinking about the past. And so this is the 25th anniversary of the Dorman College, and it's almost coincident with the 100th anniversary of honors education in the United States. And honors education, the history of honors education follows a pattern of always kind of rising to meet kind of challenges and challenging moments in the history of higher education. And so the first honors program really was formed in 22 outside of my hometown of Philadelphia at another university. And it was designed, it came into being at a time of transformation in higher education. And it was designed, that honors program was designed to capture and to ensure a deep education, or rich education, and to offer students the most challenging kind of interdisciplinary education that it could. And to make sure that that kind of education, a challenging, interdisciplinary, deep education, remain at the heart of what universities do. After the Second World War, as higher education expanded in the United States, the honors programs and honors colleges expanded really into public universities at that time in its most significant way there. And likewise, in that expansion into public universities during this transformative period after the Second World War in higher education, again, they were there to ensure a deep education, a rich education, a challenging education. And now, by the end of the 20th century, now into the 21st century, honors education are part of a majority of, they're not universal, but they're part of a majority of American universities. However, I say honors education in a polytechnic remains comparatively rare in the context of overall honors education. And I really think, and preparing for the 25th anniversary has really brought this home to me, that two of the founding ideas of the Dorman College that were referenced already by Dr. Dorman. So two of the founding ideas of the Dorman College remain at the avant-garde of honors education, and really will be what guide us into the future. First of all, the first thing I've mentioned already, it's been mentioned by everyone here so far, is incorporating that an honors education, a deep interdisciplinary education, into a rigorous technical education of a polytechnic is incredibly challenging, and it is a great challenge and an important challenge for us. Steve Jobs, of course, is famous for saying that, describing Apple as at the intersection of technology and the liberal arts. And what the Honors College tries to do is place Dorman scholars at that creative intersection by enriching their overall NJIT education and connecting the dots for them within that NJIT education. So I think you see that goal of creating that really rich creative education. You see it right from the outset in Dorman College in the first documents we created under Dr. Bloom around the curriculum in conversation, really these conversations coming out with Dr. Fenster and Dr. Dorman. And so what we're doing now, to address that need, with the faculty here at NJIT and under the leadership of Provost Deek, we're implementing, these kind of cutting edge interdisciplinary programs here. So we have a medical humanities track, again, connecting the rich resources within our general education requirements, within our humanities and history departments, in the CSLA, with our technical requirements within the other major colleges. We have the faculty fellows programs, and two of whom are endowed have been endowed by the Dorman family again. So we have Dr. Maria Stanko's work addressing climate change and food production. We have Dr. Bufadel's and Dr. Lucia Rodriguez Ferrer's honors courses addressing drinking water quality and safety. We have Dr. Vivek Kumar's course helping our scholars bring new medical therapies to market using NJIT's intellectual property to try to bring new medical therapies to market, as I said. Dr. Vatsal Shah's course in reverse engineering to restore and improve urban infrastructure. Dr. Shah is a Dorman scholar and an honors alumnus, was a Dorman scholar. He's graduated. He's a Dorman alumnus as well. And now he's a kind of leading engineer and helping us back on campus here by teaching this really important course, again, addressing critical issues of the day. Dr. Sean Chester, another honors alumnus, went on to get his PhD at a polytech in Massachusetts, which you will have heard of. He's our doctors Joel and Diane Bloom, honors faculty fellow. Dr. Sean Chester. He's the Saul and Roberta Fenster honors faculty fellow in engineering, and his work is cutting edge work on soft materials, and so in mechanical engineering. And so he's an excellent example of how a Dorman education goes on to create great researchers who then kind of come back here in this case to give the kind of most advanced education to our scholars to help address kind of critical issues of the day. Again, Dr. Michael Lee, another one of our faculty fellows. He is the Drs. Joel and Diane Bloom Honors Faculty Fellow in STEM Leadership, and he offers a wonderful course in design thinking to address structural inequality. In that course, so honors education was designed to present the most kind of rigorous, most interdisciplinary kind of and challenging education it could to help scholars become creative, to become contributors to society. And Dr. Lee's class is a great example of that, and really brings me to the second way in which the Dorman College remains at the forefront. Because, and Dr. Dorman has already said this today, and Dr. Bloom as well, but we're not interested in those eye-popping test scores, the 1502 average SAT or whatever. We're not interested in the amazing research that goes on here for itself. We're interested in these things because we are, at a public polytech, and the Honors College, the Dorman College, is here to serve society, here to bring us together to solve the serious issues of the day, and just as much as anything, as Dr. Dorman said, to bring us together. And so that vision has always been of kind of science and technology at the intersection with the liberal arts in service of society. So the Dorman scholars offer over 40,000 hours of community service every year. And we're here, the entire team here in the Dorman College, we're determined to make that as meaningful and as impactful in their time here in the college as possible, so they learn those lessons and take them forward into their careers into the future. So honors education, we are here to try to introduce to and engage our scholars in the fundamental questions of society. And those two things, the kind of profound education and the commitment to service, that are at the heart of what the Dorman College was, that are at the DNA of the Dorman College, those can remain the avant-garde of honors education. Those remain the kind of future of education, honors education here at NJIT, and I think nationally. Those are the challenges.
Thank you very much, Dean Hamilton. I appreciate that. All right, so that concludes our Q&A section about the history. Are there any last remarks, Dr. Dorman or Dr. Bloom, that you'd like to add?
I think Dr. Bloom and Mrs. Bloom, Dr. Diane Bloom and Dr. Joel Bloom deserve an enormous amount of credit. I watched them as president of the university, and they are really the heart and soul of this. And to prove that, I've made a special gift to make sure Dr. Bloom stays involved with the university after he retires. He can't appreciate that, but he'll have some commitment to the NJIT after he's officially retired as president.
And Dr. Bloom, if you want to offer anything, we'll just make sure everyone's unmuted there.
I just wanted to reference the category under which Al, actually it's called indentured servitude, Al. I would gladly serve, notwithstanding the gift, if offered the opportunity, just to be around this university. So thank you, Al, for helping to make that happen as well. And I think Lewis summed it up extremely well. I was on another call earlier, another WebEx or Zoom or Teams or whatever we're all on these days. And it was a similar kind of discussion. It was an academic festival at another college I happened to graduate from. And the conversation was about tech and the humanities, tech and the liberal arts, and how do we bring them together? Because right now, some of that division, I think Al and others have recognized, is we seem to be in this battle between opinion, science, and technology, and which comes first. And some of this 90-minute conversation with other university presidents, I think we concluded that what is the outcome we want? Let's collect the data. Let's apply the science and the technology and let that inform opinion as compared to opinion coming ill-informed very often first. So it is about, and it's all about the communication and and very often others have said it, many of our alums continue to go back to the soft skills, what they call the soft skills, the history, their ability to organize and present, to stand and deliver. They go back to those skills as making the difference in their careers as STEM majors. So you're absolutely right, Louis. And as well as the analytic and skills that we try to ensure, and problem-solving skills, we try to see all of our students, honors and non-honors, leave here with. So well said, Louis. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
And with those remarks, I'm going to hand it back to you, Dean Hamilton.
Yeah. So thank you all. For joining us. Thank you, Al and Joan, Dr. Dorman and Joan Dorman for joining us. President Bloom, Dr. Bloom for joining us. Laura and Eric and Richard and Julie, I know you're there as well. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you. It's a great privilege to be part of this college. I'm very proud of being part of the NJIT family here in the Dorman College, and I'm proud of the work our scholars are doing now. And I know our confidence is well placed in them to solve the problems that we've described here. We do have a special video treat, so please hold on. We're going to show you a brief video, some video messages from some of our friends, and then we will return in a minute or two after that video for some final remarks. So, Michael, I think I turn it over to you now.
I'm Albert's son, Ken Dorman. Congratulations, Dad, on the 25-year anniversary of the Honors College. In addition to my father, Albert, I also want to extend a special thank you to my mother and Albert's wife of 70 years, Joan, who has also been instrumental in the success of the college. Indeed, in my mind, the Honors College will always be the Albert and Joan Dorman Honors College, for without the support of Joan, we would not be celebrating this anniversary. I love you both, and congratulations.
Hey, Albert and Joan, for the 2020 Honors Fall Council, we just wanted to introduce ourselves. My name is Michael Schober. I'm the Honors Hall President. I'm Max Karp, and I'm the Honors Hall Vice President.
I'm Cass Wood, and I'm the Treasurer. I'm Ronald Desai, and I'm the Director of Advocacy.
I'm Daniel June, and I'm the Secretary.
I'm Cecil Patty, and I'm the Director of Programming.
We just wanted to thank you for everything you've done for the NJIT community as a whole, as well as the Albert Dorman Honors College. We wish you could be here today, but we understand. We hope you have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Hi, my name is Adebusayo Kolade, and I'm the second year electrical engineering.
I'm Natalie. I'm a sophomore chemical engineering major. Hi, I'm Roxy. I'm a second year biomedical engineering major.
Hi, I'm Roxy. I'm a second year biology.
And I'm Michael Tuma. I'm a second year computer science major. So, we are the Fall 2020 Honors Student Council. And we would just like to take a few moments to say we greatly appreciate the Honors College and all the opportunities that it gives to us, and we especially appreciate the great service of the Dorman family.
Hey everyone, Faisal Shah here, NJIT Albert Dorman Honors College, class of 2008, Vice President, NJIT Alumni Association, and Albert Dorman Honors College, Faculty Fellow in Civil Engineering in 2019. Congratulations to Dr. Bloom, Dean Hamilton, and Albert Dorman and family on an incredible 25 years with the university and the Honors College. I'm looking forward to seeing where the next 25 years go for alum and students like myself, and also to support the Honors College in all its future endeavors. Congratulations again, and best of luck.
Hello, my name is Josh Dorman, and I am Al and Joan's grandson. Papa Al, the extraordinary generosity you have demonstrated throughout your life is nothing short of awe-inspiring. The impact you have had on so many has made you an incredible role model, both for me and surely for all the students of the Honors College who have benefited from what you created. Congratulations on this historic milestone.
I'm Julie Young Dorman.
And I'm Abigail Dorman.
Only 30 seconds to honor you. That's what I was told to do. I'll talk fast, reflect on our past, but Al and Joan, I can't do it alone. So Abby here has 30 seconds too. Together, I guess, a minute will do.
We can't rival Nana's quick way with rhyme, and Papa's wit and humor just can't be denied. Nana's patience and grace would win first place. Papa's wisdom and prudence are always first rate. Oh boy, these two just can't be replaced.
Helping others through education, that was always your byline. The Honors College ain't on the sideline. You've achieved your mission. That much is true. Now we as a family have a mission too.
To continue a legacy so great and dear, 25 years deserves 3 cheers. We thank you for your time and listening to our rhyme. We love you so and hope you know we'll help the college continue to grow. To 25 years and many more. We love you, Nana and Papa. Mwah.
Hello, my name is Richard Dorman, and I am Al and Joan Dorman's youngest son. Congratulations, Mom and Dad, on the 25th anniversary of the Albert Dorman Honors College. What a wonderful and tremendous achievement it is. I want you both to know that your family is committed to ensuring that the college continues to flourish over the next 25 years and well beyond, building on the strong foundation and the wonderful blueprint that the two of you established 25 years ago. Truly, a toast is warranted. To Albert and Joan Dorman, your legacy will continue. I love you. Just a footnote, Dad. Did you notice that I'm toasting using a martini glass? 6 parts to 1 Bombay Sapphire Gin to vermouth with an olive in an extra cold glass. Just the way you like it. Cheers.
Hello, everyone. My name is Richard Schatzberg. I am the acting chairperson of the Albert Dorman's Honors College. I want to thank all of you for taking part in today's event, and in particular, for helping to celebrate such a great visionary and leader in Dr. Albert Dorman. When I first joined the Dorman Honors College board, I received a very quick education on the type of leader that Al is. At my very first board meeting, I remember vividly Al asking each of us on the board to look around the room and ask ourselves if the demographic composition of the board matched the diversity of our student population. It was such an interesting question. He further challenged us with both grace and strength to consider what else we could do as a group and as individuals to help the university, to help the Dorman Honors College, and most importantly, to help our Dorman scholars that Al loves so much. That was all at my very first meeting that I attended as a board member, so I received a fast education on Al Dorman. A few years later, I was honored to serve as the Master of Ceremonies at Celebration, which is NJIT's Black Tie Gala each year. It just so happened that Dr. Dorman was being honored that evening with the President's Medal of Lifetime Achievement. So my family and I were able to get to know Dr. Dorman, his amazing wife, Joan, and their family just a little bit more. That evening, Dr. Dorman showed us that great leadership, dedication, and drive can be equally matched with humor and sincere humility. His speech that evening, which gave credit for his many accomplishments to everyone but himself, most notably his wife Joan, is one that my entire family will always remember. Without question, Dr. Dorman and Joan are people and a husband and wife team that we can all model ourselves after. It is my hope as chairperson, sincere hope of the Dorman Honors College Board, that I can accomplish just a small fraction of what Al did during his tenure and his founding of the Honors College, and more significantly, what he and Joan did through their contribution to NJIT, an event that has forever changed and transformed our great university for the better. So with that, and on behalf of all the past and present members of the Albert Dorman Honors College Board, I want to congratulate you, Al, on all of your great accomplishments. Way too many to list here tonight, and wish you and Joan a wonderful, safe, and healthy future together. Congratulations, Dr. Dorman.
Laura, would you care to give a few words?
Sure, I can't top the videos from the rest of my family. Those were great. But I'm very proud of both my parents, obviously, and I have wonderful hopes for the college in the ensuing years, and I'm so glad the whole family is committed to our continuing support.
And so I'd also like to add my remarks here. So to Albert and Joan Dorman, to the Dorman family, to Saul Fenster, to President Bloom, and for the happy convergence of minds and hearts that created this wonderful college, to all of our friends and alumni and colleagues here on campus, the Albert Dorman Honors College. And now, President Bloom.
Cheers.
Cheers.
NJIT cups.
He's still muted.
Cheers,
Michael. So we unmute President Bloom. Michael.
Dr. Bloom, I think you'll need to unmute yourself. My apologies.
Diane and I, Dr. Bloom, the other Dr. Bloom and I are drinking coffee, much to my chagrin.
Yeah, this is coffee.
Richard Dorman, I think I know who was the origin of that martini. And if that is the case, I am sorry I'm not out there with you folks in California. Al Dorman makes an outstanding martini. Now, to the alums and the currently enrolled student, that's a talent that you perfect later in life, not at this point. So, first of all, I want to thank Mike Smullen and all of his colleagues. I want to thank Lewis and our Honors College students, what they've achieved here this evening and informing us and keeping us informed about the Honors College. I ask each and every one of you to please live life to your fullest, but make sure you offer a hand up and pull somebody up who you can help, whether you're here as a student, you've heard about the community service that our students do, or you're an alum. And to our alums, it's been said, but I will repeat it again. No gift back to the Honors College is too small. No matter what you are doing in this point in your life, remember the Honors College. Remember how it gave you the hand up and how you have had, many of you, very successful careers. And I ask that you give back. To Al and Joan Dorman, with whom my wife and I have just had immensely enjoyable times together and evenings, we have a couple things in common beyond the martini. First of all, Al, I realized just the other day, you and I are we're acquiring, or at least I'm acquiring wisdom. You've always had wisdom. We both married women from the Midwest, Eastern guys who married women from the Midwest. Now, I'm not proposing that either alums or future alums follow that practice, but I am telling you that the success in part of our Honors College is owed to the woman that you are viewing to my immediate right. She was the one, along with Al Dorman, who continued to challenge me to improve the quality of instruction, the quality of experience that these students, our Honors Scholars, would achieve at the Albert Dorman Honors College. The other thing Al and I enjoy is laughter. You may have heard it. And we both do a fairly well presentation of humor, none of which we will record here this evening. But maybe at some future event, Al, we could do a joke off and see who can get the most applause on the meter. Al really has an outstanding repertoire of jokes. So to the Dormans, Tal and Joan, who we hope to see in the near future, please stay well. To the rest of the Dorman family, please Stay well, take care, and we love you dearly. Thank you.
And I believe we also have a brief note from Josh and Abby Dorman as well.
Hi. We just want to say to the staff at the Honors College, thank you so much for putting on such a wonderful presentation. I know personally it was great to hear from all those students and from the staff and faculty of the college. And as I touched on briefly, I could definitely not fit it into the 30 seconds of the video that was shown, but I'm so proud of my grandfather and what he has accomplished and what the Honors College has grown into. And I, along with all the other members of my family, am 100% committed to staying involved and helping ensure that his legacy and his vision remains relevant and continues to have an impact for decades to come. Abby?
Yeah, I just want to echo. My brother's words as well. It is truly such an honor and a privilege to be a Dorman. And Nana and Papa, we love you so much. I don't think I'll ever forget walking into the lobby of the Dorman Honors College and seeing all of the photos and the memorabilia. And I knew you were celebrities, but I had no idea you were A-listers. So that was really exciting and that was really cool. And just talking with all the students has been such an incredible experience. And I'm so grateful and so honored to be your granddaughter. So thank you for the legacy that you've left us all with, and we will continue it, and we will continue creating and implementing your vision. So Nana and Papa, I love you so much, and thank you.
So I want to say quickly, thank you first of all to the development team for helping us, Michael for running all this. Dr. Bloom, I have to add that my wife, Dr. Hamilton, is from Ohio, so there's something going on there. And then before this is a real drink, and I intend to drink it. So before we have a final toast here, well, one final toast to Albert Dorman, and then the last word to Albert Dorman. Cheers, chin chin.
Cheers.
Bombay, Sapphire.
Al, would you like to one final word?
No.
My mother would like to say.
Brilliant,
Yes,
please.
Thank you for the honors you bestowed on us. I feel so moved, so grateful that I'm a part of this college. And I know it's going to go on after I'm gone, and that my children and my grandchildren will carry the torch.
Thank you all so very much. It's really a wonderful evening, and I hope a worthy tribute to your great generosity and your great spirit and your great vision here. We intend to carry that torch forward. And again, thank you to my colleagues in development for their work on this, and Michael for your efforts here. And so, thank you all very much. And I believe at this point, my job is to say have a good evening, and we look forward to the day very soon, I hope, when we all get to meet again here in this beautiful college and shake hands and work together face to face. Thank you.